Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. Still having my coffee here and sharing some stories, sort of a video autobiography on myself, how I got to be the way I am, and some of my life experiences and some of my stories. And I kind of touched on my early years and I kind of touched on my career in my middle years. And that kind of brings me up to, when I started my channel. And when I started my channel, I decided that I wanted to share the information that I knew, the things that I lived and the things that I experienced. Um, and it boils down to my parents' death, basically. When my parents died, a complete well of information was lost. The stuff that I'm bringing forth on my channel is just scratching the surface of all the information that was lost when my parents passed away. And that year after my parents passed away, all the people that my mom and dad knew and the people that I grew up with, they literally all died within 12 months of my parents. So, literally, daily, I was driving past the funeral home and I was seeing another name up on the funeral home of people that I knew well that were gone. I spent a majority of that year, at least every couple of weeks, I was up at the funeral home signing a book to somebody that I grew up with. And I was just to the point where, man, this just information and knowledge is just literally dying in front of me. And I decided I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to try to prevent some of this knowledge and some of this information, some of this old school way of doing things and living life. I'm not going to let that die. I'm going to use this modern technology, YouTube, to share this stuff. And I remember talking to my kids, hey, how do I start a YouTube channel? My kids were like, yeah, okay, Dad, whatever, sure, sure. This is how you do it. And they're like, and I even had my one child even told me after the fact, Dad, I never thought that you were going to be have a YouTube channel. I thought you were just kind of bullshitting us that day. And I said, no, there's a reason for it. If something happens to me, more knowledge is going to be lost, even though it's just, what I know just scratches the surface of what the old timers knew and the ones that passed away back when my parents passed away and stuff. Even though I only know a small percentage of that, it's still information that people can use today if they know about it. And so I decided that I was going to try to pass on as much of the old knowledge as I could recall, basically, because none of this was written down. um, when I show you the old cookbooks and stuff like that, that is again just a fraction of the knowledge because not everything was written down. 90% of the knowledge that I knew, that was just, hey, if you need to do this, you do this. It was all word of mouth. It was all passed down verbally. Um, there was very little stuff that was like written down. And I figure if it's on the internet, it's going to be on the internet forever, more or less. And that's why decided I was going to use this medium. I would like to write a book one day too, but I decided that this medium right here, this electronic medium, is going to be the best way to get the information out as quick as possible. So most of my videos that I do are all spur of the moment. It's not like I write down a script for a video and I go off notes or anything like that. And that's one thing. A lot of people got fancy cameras and everything, and I just got my phone. I just run my channel on my phone. And one of the reasons I've never, like changed any of my equipment or anything like that is because I always have my phone with me. And when I recall something, when something pops into my head, I'm like, you know what? This situation I'm in right now reminds me of something that grandma told me or mom told me, dad told me, whatever. I do a video on it right then and there when I'm thinking about it. And that is why I've never really, upgraded. And I don't believe in wasting people's time. I just try to get to the point and say, hey, if this happens and you need, a remedy or whatever for this or that, or this particular skill or whatnot, this is just how you do it. And that's why I don't have a 12-second intro or outro or anything like that. I just, when it pops into my mind and I'm thinking about it and I'm saying, hey, you know what, this is something that people can benefit from, I just shoot a video of it right then and there when I'm thinking about it, because there's no time like the present. There's no time than no better time than right now to get that information out. You can't learn any, nobody can learn any younger, and that's basically the basis of my channel and why I started doing the stuff that I do. And it's just, I see a tool, or, I see something on the news that relates back to something that the old timers told me. I'll just do a video on and say, hey, this is how they handled that situation, or this is what they did back then, or these are the things, and I've got my share of memorabilia and stuff. My whole garage is full of, all old tools, and every one of those tools and any one of those kitchen implements and every recipe, they all have stories behind them. And I just try to articulate those stories, off the top of my head, because like I said, as far as scripts go, I don't script anything. It's just what I think, when I'm thinking about it. And I don't want that knowledge to die with me. And my latest health scare that I had here is a perfect example. If something would have happened to me and I wouldn't have made it out of that, at least what I knew was passed on to my subscribers, and then they can take that knowledge and they can propagate that out into the world. And I had a couple of people tell me, man, why are you making videos? You're sicker than hell. Why are you, just go rest? You ain't got to make no videos. And I'm like, no, because I'm going through a bad situation. This is firsthand knowledge. I'm going through a bad situation right now. And there's some stuff here that I thought I had right that really wasn't right. And people can learn from these things, because, it's better to learn from other people's mistakes than your own mistakes. I said, no, I'm going to document this. I'm going to document this on my channel the best I can and in the best of my ability, so people can learn from it. And that is the point of the channel. We're all dust of the earth, and we're all going to go back to the earth when it's all said and done and over with. And we all share this world together. And people need to reconnect with each other and reconnect with the past and the knowledge of the past, because people lived in the past and they lived good too. It wasn't, always bad stuff in the past either. The bad stuff is what always gets the attention. The good times don't get the attention, but the old timers lived the good and the bad times, and those things need to come back out, and they need to come back into the forefront as well, because you know people had good times during bad times too. And a lot of the reason why that was is because they had the skills and the knowledge and the foreknowledge, and information was passed down to them that all benefited them, and that gave them sort of an upper hand to deal with things. Again, that's another reason for my channel. I don't push a lot of fear, and I don't push a lot of hype. When I do a video that's, I'm hoping at some point somebody's going to get some benefit out of, and that video is going to help them, and help them get through whatever hard time they're going through, because that's how it was when I was growing up. If something bad happened and my mom or my dad or my grandmother weren't quite sure how to handle that situation, no matter what it was, they'd call around. They'd go ask other people, hey, how did you take care of this? And usually there was somebody in the community that had already dealt with that. And I've just expanded the community, from my local community out into the world via this electronic platform. And I didn't want that knowledge to die. I didn't want that knowledge to die, because I was watching it die firsthand. And So that's why I've got an old school channel, I guess. My channel is not anything flashy. It's not anything fancy. It's never going to be anything fancy because of fancy isn't functional. And the people back then, they didn't sugarcoat things, and they didn't hype things up. They just helped each other out. And that's what I'm trying to do with my channel. And that sort of brings my autobiography video here up to a close. Just sharing a little bit of my past, telling these stories, telling these things that will help people out no matter what the future might hold. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. I appreciate all my subscribers out there. I hope you guys get some information, good information, and some entertainment and some lighthearted moments mixed in with all the stuff that's going on in the world. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys out there, and you guys take care.